Kyle Cincy.
You can't. Okay. 94% of your snaps are out of shotgun, something astronomical like that. And you have questions about your run game, right? Nolan's like, why can't we run the ball? Well,
That's a lot. Yeah.
if Joe Burrow's not healthy enough to be under center
Yeah.
and do play action or hand off the ball with his back to the defense or move the pocket, I'm not sure if he's healthy enough to be on the field.
That's where I am.
So if you want to fix this Bengals offense, put somebody in there who can run the stretch play under center, who can run play action rollout, who can find Jamar Chase, who's always fucking open.
Yeah.
I don't see the Bengals having success if one, Joe Burrow's not relatively healthy. The ability to move is huge. I know he's not a big mobility guy anyway, but Tom Brady wasn't either. But if Tom Brady couldn't maneuver the pocket, shit didn't look good for him.
But that's his biggest pocket mobility comp, and Joe's more athletic than Tom. We always talk about that. He can't make those little movements that buy him an extra 20 yards. You can't make those little movements that buy him 5 on 3rd and 4. You know, like the thing Trevor Lawrence did where on the first 4th down of the game, he ducks under homeboy, hits Ridley for the touchdown. Like, Joe's movements are so good when he's healthy. He's just a sitting duck, to your point.
Yeah, and as to the running game, you cannot win in the National Football League if you don't have an offense predicated on the run game.
Yeah.
And I know that there's examples that prove otherwise, but in large part, you got to run the football. You got to get under center. You got to hit guys with fullbacks, tight ends play side. And they haven't. They spread everybody out, and they haven't had success.
Kyle, I mean, you could say since he had a short week, you know, off of Monday Night Football, maybe physical game.
We all had short weeks.
The whole thing, you could say, you know, the Bengals' first month of the season, throw it out. I think this is different. I do. And this is part of what I was worried about this year with Joe not getting the offseason, Joe with the injury. I mean, you just paid this guy more than any human being who throws a fucking football on the planet, and you got beat by the team that's been trying to replace their quarterback for 2 years.
Mbappe throws it in sometimes.
Yeah, Mbappe, that's true. I knew you'd have one. But, like, you know, the Titans, all due respect to them, and they're a good football team, right? And they just keep bludgeoning people.
Well-coached, tough, run the ball.
But you've beaten them 2 years in a row, two games in a row. The last 2 games are really painful for those guys, and maybe that's had a lot to do with it. Instead of worrying about them coming to town, you're worrying about getting your shit together. 3 touchdowns through 3 weeks. No 3rd down conversion until the 9-minute mark to go in the game. And Burrow said it. He looks like a statue. You can't move the pocket. Higgins, the thing has gone to shit. He's hurt.
Yep.
Like, so if you're thinking about ever moving him
Switch
or
the number
paying
back.
him, like, I don't know what's going on there.
Switch the number back.
Yeah. They had it going like drive 1. If you watch the first 10 plays of this offense, you were like, oh, they're back.
Mm-hmm.
But in the red zone, it just stalls, and then they get them to 3rd downs. Like, Tennessee started walking people up late in the run front, and they just run into heavy boxes, and they don't seem to have adjustments for the situation they're in, and then they get in 3rd down, and Joe would just get pummeled. So defense couldn't stop Henry, even with stacked boxes. You know, I've seen Marvin Lewis's name been thrown around online from Bengals fans, which means they're starting to get really
Marvin Lewis.
They're like, this feels like Marvin Lewis again, that sort of thing. And I also saw a Bengals fan make this point, and we made this point before with Joe Burrow. We made it early in his career, and I thought they got away from it. But you worry that a guy like him, who's supremely talented, who's got the it factor, who's tough to a fault, because I think he shouldn't be in this game, and he'll stand back there and take hits. And it's gotten him in trouble. Andrew Luck was the same way. And Andrew Luck was more athletic, but the way they mismanaged his career in Indy, I'm worried they're going to look back at Joe Burrow and say, hey, what might have been? I mean,
this was the guy that we were like, this was the guy that was like Tom Brady 2.0.
The traditional just lawn deer with a little bit more, the last relic of like yesteryear.
But with moxie and toughness.
He's like a modernized Tom Brady.
They're going to knock the moxie right out of him.